Did you know that many people unknowingly sabotage their golden years, not because of what they are doing, but because of what they refuse to stop doing? After 60, freedom, happiness, and peace don't just come from adding new habits. They often come from letting go of the ones that secretly hold you back. And here's the truth. The difference between a stressful retirement and a fulfilling one usually depends on choices that seem small today, but carry massive weight tomorrow. Take a moment and ask yourself, are you still carrying regrets from decades ago? Are you clinging to clutter that drains your energy? Or perhaps you've told yourself, I'm too old to start something new? These hidden habits sneak into your everyday life and quietly steal your joy. But the good news is this, once you recognize them, you can release them, and the transformation is almost instant. In this video, we're not just going to list things to avoid, we'll uncover 9 powerful shifts that can completely reshape your retirement. Each one is simple, but together, they create a life where health, wealth, and happiness aren't just possible, they become your reality. Stay with me, because one of these points is something almost nobody talks about, yet it could be the key to your happiest years ahead. Let me introduce you to someone whose story might sound surprisingly familiar. His name is Mr. Alaric, an unusual name for an ordinary man who spent most of his life as a respected school principal. For over 35 years, Alaric guided thousands of students, shaping their futures with discipline, wisdom, and care. To his community, he was a leader, a mentor, and a problem solver. But when the day finally came to retire, something unexpected happened. For the first time in decades, Alaric woke up without a bell schedule, without lesson plans, and without the endless responsibilities that had filled his life. At first, it felt like freedom. He told himself, now I finally have all the time in the world. But slowly, that empty calendar started to feel less like freedom and more like emptiness. Without realizing it, Alaric began slipping into habits that drained him rather than fulfilled him. He ignored small health issues, spent hours sitting in front of the television, avoided calls from old friends, and convinced himself that trying new things was for younger people. Have you ever felt that way? That strange, quiet voice that says, your best years are behind you? Alaric believed it for a while. And it wasn't just him. Many people around him seemed to accept that retirement meant slowing down, shrinking your world, and living smaller each day. But here's where Alaric's story takes a powerful turn. One afternoon, while sorting through a dusty box of old papers, he found a note he had once written to his students, never stop learning. Never stop living. That single line jolted him awake. He realized he had been breaking his own rule. Retirement, he thought, wasn't supposed to be about waiting for the clock to run out, it was about finally living on his own terms. From that moment, Alaric began asking himself not just what he wanted to do, but what he needed to stop doing. Slowly, he released the habits that were weighing him down, and each small change created a ripple of transformation. His story is more than just one man's journey. It's a mirror for so many retirees who secretly feel stuck but are one decision away from unlocking joy, purpose, and health again. And that's why, throughout this video, Alaric's journey will guide us. Because the truth is simple, if he can rediscover happiness by letting go of what no longer served him, so can you. 1. Stop ignoring your body. If there's one truth about retirement that many people don't want to hear, it's this. Your body becomes the gatekeeper of your freedom. You can have all the time and money in the world, but if your health fails, both become meaningless. Sadly, too many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond start brushing off those little warning signs. The aching knee, the occasional chest flutter, the nagging back pain. They say things like, it's just part of getting old, or I'll get it checked later. But later often comes at a cost. This is exactly what happened to Mr. Alaric. After retirement, he noticed a dull ache in his hip. At first, he ignored it, blaming it on all the years of standing in classrooms. Weeks turned into months, and the pain grew worse. Instead of going for a simple checkup, he tried to tough it out. His reasoning? He didn't want to bother the doctor with something that seemed small. But one morning, the pain became unbearable, and his daughter had to drive him to the hospital. The diagnosis wasn't life-threatening, but it could have been prevented with early attention. That experience shook Alaric deeply. He realized that ignoring his body wasn't a sign of strength, it was a dangerous gamble with his future. The truth is, prevention is always easier, cheaper, and far less painful than treatment. Think of it this way, every time you skip a health checkup, it's like covering your car's check engine light with tape. The problem doesn't disappear, it only grows. Regular screenings, listening to your body's signals, and addressing small pains immediately can extend your independence and protect the retirement you've worked so hard to earn. And here's the good news, you don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Simple steps like scheduling annual checkups, staying active with gentle exercises, and eating foods that nourish rather than drain your energy can dramatically improve your quality of life. So, let me ask you, have you been putting off a doctor's visit? Or brushing aside that nagging pain, telling yourself it's nothing? If so, this is your wake-up call. Tell us in the comments what small step you'll take this week for your health. Because here's the lesson Alaric learned the hard way. Protecting your health after 60 isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. And when you honor your body, you open the door to a retirement filled with freedom, energy, and joy. 2. Stop isolating yourself. One of the greatest silent threats to retirement isn't financial stress or even physical illness, it's loneliness. Studies have shown that loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Yet, many people after 60 slip into isolation without even realizing it. Children grow up and move away, friends relocate or pass on, and the daily social interactions from work suddenly vanish. The house feels quieter, the days feel longer, and slowly, the joy of connection begins to fade. This was exactly what happened to Mr. Alaric. After years of leading a bustling school filled with students and teachers, retirement left him with long stretches of silence. At first, he enjoyed the peace. But soon, the silence turned heavy. Meals felt lonely, and weekends seemed endless. He found himself spending hours in front of the television, not because he loved the shows, but because the voices in the background filled the emptiness. One evening, his neighbor invited him to join a local chess club. At first, Alaric hesitated. He hadn't played seriously in decades and worried he'd embarrass himself. But eventually, curiosity won. He showed up, nervous but open-minded. What he found surprised him. The club wasn't just about chess, it was about laughter, friendly debates, and companionship. Slowly, the spark returned. Each match wasn't just a game, it was a reason to leave the house, a chance to exercise his mind, and an opportunity to connect with others who shared his interests. The lesson here is clear. Isolation drains your energy and shortens your happiness, but community restores it. Staying socially active isn't just about having fun, it's about protecting your emotional health, your mental sharpness, and even your physical well-being. And here's something important, connection doesn't have to mean big crowds or endless social events. It can be as simple as joining a book club, volunteering at a local charity, or calling an old friend just to say hello. What matters is staying connected to people who make you feel alive. So let me ask you, have you ever felt the weight of loneliness since retiring? What activities or groups have helped you stay connected? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your ideas might inspire someone else who's feeling isolated right now. Because as Alaric discovered, retirement isn't meant to be lived in silence. It's meant to be shared, with laughter, friendship, and a sense of belonging that makes every day worth waking up for. 3. Stop hoarding clutter. There's a hidden weight many retirees carry, not in their bodies, but in their homes. It shows up in overstuffed closets, dusty garages, and boxes stacked in corners. At first glance, it's just stuff. But clutter is more than piles of things. It's a physical reminder of the past that can create stress, overwhelm, and even guilt. In retirement, when peace of mind should be the goal, clutter quietly steals joy. For Mr. Alaric, this truth became clear one Saturday morning. He decided to clean out his attic, a place he hadn't touched in years. As he opened the door, he was greeted by stacks of old lesson plans, broken furniture, and boxes of papers he had long forgotten. At first, he felt sentimental. Each item carried a memory. But as he stood there, surrounded by dust and disorder, a heavy realization sank in. These objects weren't giving him comfort. They were holding him hostage. Piece by piece, Alaric began sorting through the clutter. Some items brought back fond memories, but many stirred up regret or sadness. An old suit reminded him of a job interview he didn't get. A broken lamp made him feel guilty for not fixing it. The more he looked, the more he realized that clutter wasn't just taking up physical space, it was cluttering his emotions. The turning point came when he started letting go. He donated books he no longer read, gave away furniture he didn't need, and recycled piles of useless paper. With every item that left his home, a strange but wonderful thing happened. His mind felt lighter. The attic, once a source of stress, became an open space where sunlight could pour in. That empty space wasn't just physical, it created room for new experiences and new memories. This is the hidden power of decluttering. It's not about erasing your past, it's about making space for your present and future. When you clear out the items that no longer serve you, you reduce stress, improve focus, and create an environment that invites peace. So here's a question for you. Look around your home right now. Is there one drawer, one shelf, or one box you've been avoiding? What would it feel like to finally clear it out? Share your thoughts in the comments. You might inspire someone else to let go of their hidden weight. Because as Alaric discovered, letting go of clutter isn't about losing, it's about gaining. Gaining peace. Gaining space. Gaining the freedom to create new memories in your golden years. 4. Stop worrying about the past. Retirement should feel like a reward, yet for many, it becomes a season of reflection that isn't always kind. When the busy schedules fade and the quiet hours stretch longer, old memories start to resurface. Some are sweet, but others sting. Regrets about choices we didn't make, words we never said, or mistakes we can't undo often play on repeat. Guilt and regret can become like invisible chains, weighing down the spirit and keeping us from enjoying the present moment. For Mr. Alaric, this struggle came late at night. Even after decluttering his home and reconnecting with new friends, he found his mind cluttered with what ifs. He would lie awake replaying moments from his teaching career, like the student he felt he hadn't helped enough, or the times he chose work over family dinners. The more he replayed those moments, the heavier he felt. His days were brighter, but his nights were filled with shadows of the past. The turning point came during a casual conversation at the chess club. A fellow member shared how he kept a small notebook, a regret journal. Instead of letting guilty thoughts circle endlessly in his mind, he wrote them down. Then, he added one more line, "What can I learn from this?" That simple shift, transforming regret into reflection, was powerful. Inspired, Alaric tried it himself. Over time, the act of writing turned his burdens into lessons. Instead of being haunted by the past, he began harvesting wisdom from it. This is something you can do too. If regret has been whispering in your ear, try journaling, not just about what went wrong, but about what you can still do right. Or, if writing isn't your style, share your thoughts with a trusted friend or loved one. Often, saying your fears out loud is the first step toward releasing them. You may be surprised at how quickly compassion, both from others and from yourself, can silence the voice of guilt. So let me ask you, have you ever carried a regret for years that still steals your joy today? What helped you begin to let it go? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could give someone else the courage to release their own burdens. Because here's what Alaric discovered. The past is a teacher, not a prison. When you stop worrying about yesterday, you reclaim the freedom to live today, and that is the greatest gift retirement can give. 5. Stop overspending. One of the most overlooked traps in retirement isn't just running out of time, it's running out of money. After decades of hard work, many seniors finally have access to their savings or pensions, and the temptation to spend freely can feel irresistible. A new gadget here, a luxury trip there, gifts for grandchildren, or even endless little treats that seem harmless at first. But unchecked, these small and large expenses can quietly drain a lifetime of savings faster than most realize. This was a wake-up call for Mr. Alaric. In his first year of retirement, he indulged himself with purchases he had delayed for years, a sleek new television, fancy dining out almost every weekend, and gifts for nearly every family occasion. At first, it felt rewarding. After all, hadn't he earned it? But one afternoon, while reviewing his bank statements, Alaric felt his stomach drop. His spending was outpacing his careful retirement budget. If he continued down this path, his golden years might not be as secure as he imagined. That day, he made a decision. He wasn't going to stop enjoying life, but he needed to be smarter about how he spent his money. Instead of cutting joy, he cut waste. He created a simple budget that separated needs, wants, and extras. He limited impulse purchases by waiting 48 hours before buying non-essentials. He started using senior discounts, something he once ignored out of pride, and discovered how much he could save without sacrificing quality of life. Most importantly, he shifted from spending to impress others to spending on experiences that truly enriched his retirement, like affordable local trips with friends or small hobbies that brought daily joy. The lesson is this: overspending doesn't just threaten your bank account, it threatens your peace of mind. A retirement clouded by financial stress is no retirement at all. By creating a budget, tracking where your money actually goes, and being intentional about purchases, you can stretch your savings and protect your independence. So here's a question for you. Have you ever looked back at your monthly expenses and realized you were spending more than you thought? What's one budgeting trick that has worked for you? Share it in the comments. You never know who might benefit from your wisdom. Because as Alaric discovered, retirement isn't about spending like there's no tomorrow. It's about spending wisely so that every tomorrow is secure, joyful, and free from worry. 6. Stop saying I'm too old. Of all the phrases that can quietly destroy happiness in retirement, none is more damaging than this one: I'm too old. Those 3 words have ended more dreams, silenced more passions, and closed more doors than age itself ever could. The truth is, the body may change with time, but curiosity, creativity, and the desire for new experiences never expire, unless we convince ourselves they do. For Mr. Alaric, this limiting belief almost robbed him of one of the greatest joys of his retirement. At 64, while strolling past a community center, he noticed a sign advertising an art class. A small voice inside whispered, "That looks fun." But almost immediately, another voice shouted back, "You're too old to start something new. Leave painting to the younger folks." For weeks, he walked past that sign, torn between curiosity and doubt. One day, his granddaughter handed him a set of cheap watercolor paints, saying, "Grandpa, you should try this. You always used to doodle in the margins of your notebooks." That small gesture broke the spell. Alaric signed up for the class. At first, he felt clumsy, his brushstrokes uneven, his hands shaky. But instead of embarrassment, something unexpected happened: joy. He laughed at his mistakes, made new friends in the class, and discovered a side of himself that had been dormant for decades. Today, his paintings hang proudly in his living room, not because they are masterpieces, but because they represent freedom. The lesson is clear: every time you say, "I'm too old," you're not protecting yourself, you're shrinking your world. Retirement is not a finish line. It's a doorway into possibilities you never had time for before. Whether it's traveling to a place you've always dreamed of, learning an instrument, taking a dance class, or starting a small garden, the opportunities are endless. And here's the best part: trying something new doesn't just give you joy, it keeps your brain sharp, your body active, and your spirit young. Research shows that seniors who learn new skills maintain stronger cognitive health and a deeper sense of purpose. So let me ask you, what's one thing you've always wanted to try, but told yourself it was too late? Write it in the comments. You may inspire someone else to break free of that same belief. Because as Alaric discovered, the phrase "I'm too old" is nothing more than a lie. You're never too old to create, to explore, or to dream. The only limit is the one you place on yourself. 7. Stop neglecting friendships. When people look back on their lives, they rarely say, "I wish I'd bought more things." More often, they say, "I wish I had spent more time with the people I loved." Friendships, especially in our later years, are more than social connections. They are lifelines for happiness, health, and even longevity. Yet too many retirees quietly let friendships slip away. A missed phone call turns into weeks, then years. Before long, the people who once filled your days with laughter feel like strangers. This was another lesson for Mr. Alaric. After stepping down from his role as principal, he found that the constant stream of colleagues, students, and parents faded almost overnight. The friendships he had built at work were replaced by polite waves in the supermarket or the occasional holiday card. One afternoon, while flipping through an old yearbook, he realized how many people had once been part of his daily life, and how many of them he had let drift away. A sense of loss settled in. But instead of letting regret take over, Alaric took a bold step. He picked up the phone and called his oldest friend, Samuel, whom he hadn't spoken to in nearly a decade. To his surprise, Samuel's voice lit up with excitement. The years melted away in minutes. That phone call turned into weekly coffee meetups, and eventually, a small circle of old friends reunited. Suddenly, Alaric's calendar was filled not just with tasks, but with laughter, stories, and companionship. The truth is, friendships are like gardens. They wither when neglected, but they bloom beautifully when tended. Reconnecting doesn't require grand gestures. It can start with a simple message, "I was thinking about you today." Or an invitation for tea, a walk, or even a quick video call if distance makes visits hard. And here's something important: making new friends is just as powerful as rekindling old ones. Community centers, hobby groups, faith gatherings, or even online forums can be wonderful places to meet people who share your interests. Friendship is not bound by age, it's bound by connection. So here's a question for you: who's one person you've been meaning to reach out to but haven't? Write their name in the comments as a promise to yourself to reconnect. Because as Alaric discovered, retirement doesn't have to be lived in solitude. Friendships are the threads that weave joy, purpose, and belonging into our golden years. Don't let those threads unravel. Pick them up, and your life will feel whole again. 8. Stop avoiding technology. For many retirees, technology feels like a foreign language, confusing, intimidating, and best left to the younger generation. It's easy to say, "I don't need all that modern stuff." But the reality is, avoiding technology can quietly chip away at independence and connection. From managing finances safely to staying in touch with family across the world, technology isn't just about gadgets, it's about freedom. For Mr. Alaric, technology was once his greatest frustration. He owned a smartphone, but only used it to make basic calls. When his children suggested online banking, he shook his head. Too complicated, he insisted. And when his granddaughter asked him to join a video call, he panicked, pressing the wrong buttons until he gave up. Each failed attempt reinforced the belief, "I'm too old for this." But everything changed the day he missed his grandson's piano recital, streamed live for the whole family to watch. While everyone else was cheering through video chat, Alaric sat at home, alone, regretting that fear had kept him out of the moment. That night, he decided enough was enough. With a little patience, and some guidance from a neighbor, he learned the basics. The first time he joined a video call successfully, his granddaughter's face lit up the screen, and his heart swelled. Suddenly, distance no longer mattered. Soon after, he tackled online banking, setting up automatic bill payments that saved him stress and trips to the bank. Each small victory gave him confidence, and before long, technology wasn't a barrier, it was a bridge. Here's the key takeaway: learning technology doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with one small goal, like sending a text, making a video call, or setting up online bill pay. Ask a family member, a friend, or even a local library for help. There are countless tutorials designed specifically for seniors. And remember, every new skill makes life easier, safer, and more connected. So let me ask you, what piece of technology have you been avoiding? Is it online shopping, video calls, or maybe email? Share your answer in the comments, and you might find others on the same journey. Because as Alaric discovered, embracing technology isn't about keeping up with the world, it's about staying part of it. And the moment you take that step, you realize the digital world isn't just for the young, it's for anyone who wants to keep living fully and independently. 9. Stop delaying joy. One of the most dangerous habits after 60 isn't physical, it's emotional. It's the tendency to say, "I'll do it later." Later, I'll visit that place I've always dreamed of. Later, I'll try that hobby. Later, I'll treat myself to something I truly enjoy. But here's the reality, later is not guaranteed. Life has a way of slipping through our fingers while we're busy waiting for the perfect time. Mr. Alaric knew this feeling all too well. For years, he kept a small envelope tucked away in his desk labeled Someday Fund. Inside were brochures of destinations he wanted to visit, lists of experiences he wanted to try, and even a voucher for a hot air balloon ride he had received as a retirement gift. Every time he looked at that envelope, he told himself, "I'll get to it one day, when things settle down." But days turned into years, and the envelope gathered dust. One morning, while sorting through papers, his granddaughter spotted the envelope. "Grandpa, what's this?" she asked with wide-eyed curiosity. Embarrassed, Alaric admitted he had been saving it for the right moment. She looked at him and simply said, "Why not now?" That innocent question was the spark he needed. A few weeks later, Alaric found himself floating above the countryside in that very hot air balloon, wind in his face, laughter bubbling out of him like a child. It wasn't just about the ride, it was about reclaiming joy he had delayed for far too long. That one experience opened the door to others, spontaneous day trips, learning to bake with his granddaughter, and even hosting a karaoke night with friends. He realized joy doesn't have to be expensive, grand, or far away. It can be found in small, simple acts that make the heart light. The lesson here is powerful. Joy is not a luxury, it's fuel for the soul. And delaying it only robs you of the moments you could be cherishing right now. Whether it's singing out loud, planting a flower, dancing in the living room, or finally booking that trip, joy belongs in today, not someday. So let me ask you, what's one thing you've been putting off that could bring you joy? Write it in the comments, and let this be your gentle push to finally do it. Because as Alaric discovered, retirement isn't about waiting, it's about living. And when you stop delaying joy, every day becomes a chance to laugh, explore, and wonder again. As we look back at Mr. Alaric's journey, it's hard to believe he is the same man we met at the beginning of this story. Once, he was a retired school principal weighed down by hidden worries, neglecting his health, feeling the sting of loneliness, and letting old regrets hold him back. His house was cluttered with things he didn't need, and his heart was cluttered with fears about money, age, and missed chances. To him, retirement initially felt like an ending, a slow drifting into the background. But step by step, choice by choice, Alaric began to see a different truth. By paying attention to his health, he reclaimed energy. By stepping out of isolation, he rediscovered community. By letting go of clutter and past guilt, he made space for peace. He became wiser with money, but also more generous with joy. He stopped saying, "I'm too old," and started saying, "Why not now?" He reconnected with old friends, embraced technology, and even learned how to celebrate the moment instead of postponing it. The result? Alaric didn't just survive retirement, he transformed it. He became more active, more connected, more creative, and most importantly, more fulfilled. His days are now filled with laughter, new memories, and the kind of freedom he once thought was out of reach. And that's the message for you too. Retirement isn't an ending, it's your chance to truly live. These years are not about fading quietly into the background. They are about writing a bold, new chapter that reflects who you are and what makes you feel alive. So I want to leave you with this challenge. What is the one habit you will stop today to make room for a brighter tomorrow? Think about it, and share it in the comments below. Your answer might inspire someone else who needs to hear it. And if Alaric's story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe for more empowering advice, and share this video with a friend or loved one who deserves to live their best retirement. Because sometimes, a single reminder is all it takes to spark change. Remember, your golden years aren't about waiting, they're about living fully, deeply, and joyfully. The best time to start is not someday. The best time is today. If you've made it this far, it means you're not just watching, you're investing in your future self. You're choosing to learn, to grow, and to step into the kind of retirement that so many only dream about. And that decision deserves recognition. Think about the lessons we've shared through Mr. Alaric's story. A man who once felt lost in clutter, weighed down by regrets, and fearful of the unknown has now become an example of what's possible when you let go of the habits holding you back. His transformation proves that retirement is not the end of the road, it's the beginning of an entirely new one. But here's the truth, you don't have to walk that road alone. This community, Retirement Freedom and Wealth Advice for Elderly, exists to walk beside you. Every video here is designed to remind you that you're not too old to start, not too late to change, and never without options for creating more joy, more peace, and more independence. So here's what I ask of you. If this video resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, not just because it helps this channel grow, but because it tells the world that seniors deserve content that uplifts and empowers them. Share this video with someone over 60 who might be struggling with the same worries Alaric once had. Sometimes a simple nudge, a single story, can be the spark that reignites hope in someone's life. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. By subscribing, you're not just clicking a button, you're making a commitment to yourself. A commitment to keep learning, to keep exploring, and to keep embracing the freedom that retirement can bring. Each week, we'll bring you fresh, practical, and heartfelt advice tailored for this season of life. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's one change you're ready to make after watching this? Leave it in the comments. You never know, your words might be the encouragement another viewer needs today. Remember, retirement is not about slowing down, it's about choosing what matters most and living it fully. If this helped, hit like, share it with someone over 60, and subscribe for more ways to build a retirement full of freedom and joy. Because your best chapter isn't behind you, it's waiting right here, right now.